Paul. Is it good? Okay. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight for our annual College Credit Plus informational meeting. My name is Annie Harem, and I'm the coordinator of guidance here at Mentor High School. Also with me tonight from the guidance department is our Unit 10 counselors, Mr. Jim McMahon and Miss Cindy Gamori. When you arrived at either of our entrances, you should have picked up the mandatory paperwork for participation in the College Credit Plus program. This includes the letter of intent to participate and the information certification form. Tonight's program will cover the items listed on the information certification page, and it will help aid you in making an informed decision as to whether or not your College Credit Plus whether or not your son or daughter is ready to participate in the College Credit Plus program. Tonight, our presenter will be Ms. Stephanie Brown from Lakeland Community College. While the majority of our students take advantage of our partnership with Lakeland for their College Credit Plus experience, there are many other local colleges that offer College Credit Plus as well. Also here with us tonight, representing John Carroll University, is Katie Jensen. Representing Kent State University, we have Bethany Bejo. Representing Notre Dame College, we have Nick Leandradis. From Lake Erie College, David Blatnick. And also from Lakeland, Miss Tracy Cooper. All of our college representatives will be available after the presentation to answer questions in the auditorium lobby. At this point, I'm going to hand over the presentation to Stephanie to get us started.
Okay, good evening. So Lakeland has a great relationship with Mentor High School, and so we do this presentation each year, and the information that I'm going to be sharing with you is information that the state wants us to share. There's a lot of just general CCP College Credit Plus information, but I do include some Lakeland information as well because of our partnership. So College Credit Plus is Ohio's dual enrollment program, and it's available to students in the 7th through 12th grades who are considered eligible to participate. CCP students earn both high school and college credits at the same time. Any college course that's equal to or greater than 3 credit hours is worth 1 high school unit. Students must be college ready, and they're able to take classes in the summer, fall, and spring semesters. There are several ways for CCP students to participate. So I mentioned our partnership with Mentor High School. We're able to offer several CCP courses that are actually Lakeland courses here at the high school. So students are earning college credit without leaving the high school, and I'll talk about what some of those classes are later. But that's one way to participate. We do have a lot of students that actually come to Lakeland and take classes on campus, and we have online classes as well. And you can mix and match any of those opportunities in any given semester. So we might have a student that's doing a CCP English class here and then comes to Lakeland in the afternoon and takes a Spanish class and maybe does a history class online. So you can mix and match any of those opportunities. Just some quick information about Lakeland. We have about 1,500 CCP students enrolled at Lakeland, which represents about 23% of our entire student population. We have students from 36 high schools, and 80% of our CCP students are attending part-time. So that means that they're taking some of their classes back at their high school, and then they're spending part of the day at Lakeland or online. About a third of our students are only taking classes that are offered at their high school. Each year we have 90 to 100 students earn an associate degree before they graduate from high school, and we're actually #1 in Ohio, so that's something that we're really proud of. I put a pie chart up so you can get a sense of who our CCP students are by grade level. So the majority of our students are 11th and 12th graders, but we do have students attending as young as 7th grade. And one of the exciting things on our campus that was just announced last week, it was in the Chronicle of Higher Education, there was a study done of all community colleges in the country, and there's over 1,100, and Lakeland placed #2 in the nation for students reaching educational goals. So that's something that we're really proud of. And I think one of the reasons that we do have so many CCP students graduate with an associate degree compared to all other community colleges in Ohio, we treat CCP students like college students. We make sure that they have the resources that they need to succeed from counseling services, career center. We have transfer fairs to academic support services in the Learning Center. We have tutoring, the Writing Center. We have student success coaches, lots of help available in the library. We also have technology support and campus safety. We have a help desk, free apps and free programs that you can download. Students get a free Gmail account and can use Office 365, WebEx. We have campus police there 24/7. And CCP students are able to participate in student life activities as well. So we do have students that join clubs, take on leadership positions. We also have an athletic and fitness center. We have athletic teams. Students can go to those events, as well as fine arts events and things like that. So earlier I talked about being college ready. And to be college ready for CCP, that is a test score that you have to achieve. But there are more things to think about when it comes to being college ready, things like being able to solve problems and be able to be a critical thinker, being able to be comfortable in and navigate the college environment, knowing where to ask for help, being in a classroom with diverse learners, being able to manage time and being organized, and managing the emotional and social transition and college expectations, being able to understand what those are. So college and high school are very different. So I like to kind of point out the ways in which they're different. Obviously, if you're coming to Lakeland and you're sitting in a classroom, the classmates are going to be different because you're going to be in there with other CCP students probably, as well as some traditional aged college students that are right out of high school, and adult students. Maybe in their 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s. So it's a very diverse learning environment. The parent role is very different in college. So as a high school parent, you are participating in parent-teacher conferences. You can get online and see grades and attendance. You have access to all of this information. When a student is a CCP student, they are a college student, and there is a federal law called FERPA, it's the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, that says only the college student has access to their educational record, and that the college is not allowed to share that information with anyone without the written consent of the student. So if a parent calls me up and wants to know grades, or if they're showing up to class or things like that, I'm not allowed to share that information because of FERPA. So that's a big change to get used to. CCP students have to be much more independent than they are in high school. Frequency and length is different. I like to use just an example of an English class. In high school, you're used to taking a high school level English class all year long, 5 days a week. In college, you're going to take a more advanced college level course, and instead of meeting for the full year, it's only about 16 weeks long, and you're only meeting 2 days a week instead of 5 days a week. So less time in the classroom means more time on the student to be studying, doing homework, doing the things that they need to do to be successful in the class. The general rule of thumb in college is that a student should be prepared to spend 2 to 3 hours a week preparing, studying for each credit hour that they're enrolled in. So a 3 credit hour English class can be 6 to 9 hours a week on the student. And that's going to vary by student and by class and by week, but it is important to think about that time that you need to spend outside of class for each class that you are taking. Also, the activities that you're doing in the class are going to be different. In high school, you may have a lot of opportunities for assessment. You're turning in a lot of homework, and you have quizzes and tests and projects and papers and maybe some extra credit. In college, a course may only have 2 or 3 tests or one big paper, and so there's a lot more pressure put onto doing well in those assessments. We talked about study time. Content is different, especially if you're coming to the college campus. The college professor is going to teach the class the way they always teach the class, with the expectation that there are adults in the room. And they're not going to make adjustments to their lesson, to their reading assignments, to the discussions that are taking place in the classroom, just because there may or may not be a high school student in the classroom. So there is the possibility that some much more adult content will come up in a classroom at the college. We also have accommodations for students who may be on a 504 or an IEP plan, and we do have a student accommodation center that will help students set those up, but those accommodations can look a little bit different between high school and college as well. Other things to think about for CCP students: it can get a little bit tricky when you're scheduling your high school activities and your college classes and making sure you're working around extracurriculars and sports and things like that. Staying in the loop can be a little bit tricky. If you're missing announcements or missing things that are going on at the high school, you may miss out on some important information. And calendars do not always line up. The start and end of the semester, breaks, holidays, those kinds of things. So if you're planning a family vacation, things like that, that can be a little bit tricky. There are a lot of benefits to participating in CCP. Obviously, students are earning both high school and college credit at the same time, and that gives students a head start on their college degrees. Students are starting college early in high school so that when they do go on to college after high school, if that's the path they choose, the transition is generally easier because they understand the expectations. And students are saving money on tuition and textbooks. It is a good opportunity for students to explore potential careers and decide what to study in college. High school seniors have a lot of pressure on them to pick a school and pick a major and pick a career, and it's hard to do that. As a CCP student, you can take some classes and try it out while you're in high school, or take advantage of the Career Center, or those kinds of things, and that will maybe help make those decisions a little easier. It's a great opportunity to learn a new skill or take courses for personal enrichment. We have students that take welding, take sign language, take a jewelry class. There's all kinds of things you can do. And it's an opportunity to challenge yourself with more academically rigorous coursework. There are some relatively new consequences for students who are underperforming and they are not performing where they need to be. If a student fails or withdraws from too late in the semester from a class, there is a financial responsibility. The school district will seek reimbursement for the cost of a class that is not completed. The grades that students earn through CCP are part of their high school and college transcripts forever. So anytime in the future that you apply to another college or university for your undergrad or for grad school, law school, medical school, you're going to have to provide your CCP transcripts as well. If a student fails or withdraws often, then future financial aid can be negatively impacted. And then the new rule is CCP dismissal. If a student performs poorly, they can be placed on CCP probation or be dismissed from the program. So CCP probation is for students who earn below a 2.0 cumulative GPA or withdraw from 2 or more courses in the same semester. While on probation, CCP students can only take 1 class, and it cannot be a class that they previously failed or earned a D grade. If a student spends 2 consecutive semesters on probation, then they will be dismissed for the program, and they'll need to sit 1 semester out before they can try to come back into the CCP program. CCP probation and dismissals are all handled through the high school, and if a student wants to appeal that decision, if there is an extenuating circumstance, then they can appeal to the high school to see if they can, take more than 1 class or repeat a course. CCP is a free program for public school students. that covers the cost of tuition, fees, and textbooks. There may be a small charge at some private institutions, but it is free for public high school students who attend a public institution in Ohio. There are some expenses that might be the responsibility of the student. If you attend a school where they charge for parking, for example, that would be an expense. Lakeland has free parking. If you wanted to get a computer because you're going to take an online class, those kinds of things would be your responsibility. A grade that a CCP student earns will go on both their college transcript and their high school transcript and will be factored into both grade point averages. If you take a class as a CCP student and the high school has a similar course in the same area, then your CCP courses will be weighted the same as an AP or an honors class. So that's a nice benefit. Students can take up to 30 credit hours a year, minus any high school classes that the student is taking. So let's say you're taking Algebra 2 and Chemistry at the high school next year. 3 times 2 is 6. That means you'd have 24 credit hours available to you through CCP. If a student goes over their 30 credit hours, they will be notified by the high school, and they can either drop the course that puts them over their 30, or they can choose to pay for the entire course out of pocket at the regular tuition rate. The maximum number of credits allowable over the life of the program through the end of high school is 120, which is pretty close to a bachelor's degree. If you're a student athlete thinking about participating in CCP, you need to be careful and make sure that you're enrolled enough credit hours and work with the high school to make sure that your eligibility isn't in danger. So you want to make sure you're taking enough credit hours. And while you can take classes in the summer, that does not count towards your athletic eligibility. It's probably small writing, hard to see, but one of the big questions we get are, what courses should I take or can I take? And there are a lot of resources available for CCP students when they're trying to make those decisions, because they can get a little bit overwhelming. Your high school guidance counselors will be involved and will be signing off on any courses that you decide to take. So they're making sure that you're meeting your high school graduation requirements. We have counselors, advisors on campus that can work with you and help you understand what classes you can take based on prerequisites or what courses would be best for a certain major. And then there are some CCP course eligibility rules to help guide you on what classes you're able to take. So these CCP course eligibility rules, there is a rule about level 1 courses are required during your first 15 credit hours. Level 1 courses are courses that are part of the Ohio transfer module or TAG or CTAG courses, which are more technical courses that are guaranteed to transfer from one public institution to another. Also, courses in high demand fields, IT, computer science, anatomy and physiology, and foreign languages, including sign language, are level 1 courses. Courses that are part of an approved technical certificate or part of a 15 or 30 credit hour pathway, or any course that goes over study skills or academic or career success. Those are all level 1 courses. And the idea behind this is that you earn your first 15 credit hours of these level 1 courses so that you're able to earn, and that's a full semester of college coursework that you can take with you and apply toward a degree or your future success in college. After that, you can take level 2 courses, and those are some of our real fun classes like creative writing, and there's an Alfred Hitchcock class offered sometimes, things like that that are fun to take but may not be on a part of the transfer model. There are some classes that are not allowed through CCP. Any courses with private one-on-one instruction or any high fees associated with them. Study abroad is not allowed. New in the last couple of years, physical education classes that would count as gym credit in the high school, those are no longer allowed. Any courses that are pass, fail, or a remedial course. So if it's not college level, you'll have to take that course back at the high school. A quick note about math classes at Lakeland. Students need to complete Algebra 2 and test into the math class that they plan to take at Lakeland. Some other things to think about when selecting courses is, number one, first and foremost, making sure that you're not skipping any of your high school graduation requirements. We need to make sure you're graduating from high school. Deciding if you want to be full-time or part-time. So most of our students are part-time. They're taking high school classes, splitting their day, and taking Lakeland classes. But we do have some students that attend Lakeland full-time because everything that you take at the college goes back and counts at the high school. And then it's important to think about, what are your goals? Is it to earn an associate degree or a certificate? Do you want to just earn some general education requirements to transfer to another institution? Plan out what you want to be, learn a new skill, all of those things. We do have 15 and 30 credit hour pathways that are intended to be guides for students. If they're completely lost and not sure what they want to take, these are some general pathways that meet both high school requirements as well as many college general education requirements. The 15 credit hours pathway is 2 Englishes, a government and an economics, psychology or sociology, and humanities or communication. And the 30 credit hour pathway adds math and science courses as well. So each year, the course offerings at the high schools can be different, and they haven't been finalized for Mentor High School for next year yet. But this year, the Lakeland courses that were offered at Mentor were Intro to American Sign Language 1, Effective Interpersonal Communication, English Composition 1, College Algebra, and Intro to Philosophy. Those were the courses that were offered in the fall. This semester, Intro to American Sign Language 2, English Composition 2, Contemporary Society, and Trigonometry are being offered at the high school. So next year that might look a little bit different, but there are lots of opportunities. Mentor is one of our high schools that offers the most classes to the CCP students. A big question that we get is, will my credits transfer? So those general education requirements, those ones that are being offered here at Mentor High School, those are guaranteed to transfer to another 2-year public institution in Ohio. If you're planning to go to a private school or go outside of Ohio, it's important to check to see how credits may transfer by contacting the school or using transferology.com, which is a free website. And you can look up how a class at one school transfers to another institution. So to participate and to become a CCP student, the first step is applying for admission. It is up to each college or university to decide whether or not a student is admitted. And it's important to know what is required and what the deadlines are for each institution. At Lakeland, we have students apply online. If you go to our website at the very top, there is a link that says apply. You click on that and it takes you to our online application, which you'll fill out. And then they're going to ask you for your student type. And we just want you to click on College Credit Plus. And that way we know you've applied and we'll process your application. The next step is making sure that you're college ready. And we talked a little bit earlier about having a certain score on a test. So CCP eligibility is based on scores on the ACT or SAT. If you've taken either of those, most of our students haven't taken those yet. So we offer the ACCUPLACER at Lakeland. And students must meet the guidelines that are set by the state, the minimum scores that is set by the state of Ohio. So that is an 18 on ACT English, a 480 on the SAT evidence-based reading and writing, or earning a 263 on the ACCUPLACER Next Generation Writing. Those scores are set by the state, and to be eligible at Lakeland, CCP students have to be college ready in English. So that's why I'm showing you those English scores. The ACCUPLACER at Lakeland, it's a free placement exam. It's created by the College Board. It's the same company that makes the SAT exam. And we use the Next Generation Writing Test with all CCP students. If you have taken or you're currently in this year Algebra 2 and you're thinking about taking a math class at Lakeland, you can also take the Next Generation Math Test. It takes about an hour to an hour and a half to complete the test, but it is not timed. So we encourage students to take their time, don't rush through the test. Students are required to bring a photo ID. So if you do not have a driver's license or a passport or a state-issued ID, on Lakeland's website, on the CCP page, we have a link to the College Board Student ID form where you can attach a picture, you fill it out, and you have it signed by the high school or notarized, and that can serve as your ID, which is good for some of our younger students. Calculators are not permitted, one will be provided. We have students register to take the test online on the CCP page of the website. Students will have 2 attempts to get that minimum score, and if they don't get the minimum score after those 2 attempts, they'll be required to participate in one of our test prep activities. And then once they've done that, they will get 1 more attempt for that semester. So it's a student can do up to 3 attempts per semester with that intervention if needed. So my recommendation for anybody thinking about doing CCP, no matter where you're going, if you're going to be taking the ACCUPLACER, please do not show up to take the test without preparing first. It is not an easy test. They want to make sure you're college level. So we switched recently to using Next Generation Writing. You can go to the ACCUPLACER website and see sample questions. You can do practice tests on the website, and that is free. We also have purchased Longsdale Publisher ACCUPLACER Prep membership, so you can log into the website and you can practice online for free. That is a very good resource, and Khan Academy SAT Prep is a good resource as well. Lakeland will be offering in-person placement test prep sessions in our Learning Center. Our Student Success Navigators are doing those. They have separate math and English sessions, so whatever one you're interested in doing, and they go over the test, the format, some helpful tips and hints on how to do well on the test and understanding how it works. I don't think it's the content that students get stuck on, but they get a little bit surprised when they show up to take this test on a computer, and it's very different than anything they've done before, and it throws them off a little bit. So all of these activities will help you understand how the test works and help you prepare. The next step is to have your high school transcripts sent to the college. We need to see those. If you're still in middle school, you can have your guidance counselor send your grade cards over. Once a student applies, takes the test, and sends in their transcripts, as long as they have that minimum placement score, the student will be admitted and will receive an acceptance packet in the mail. We have all new CCP students attend a CCP orientation. Students and parent, at least one parent, is required to attend that. If you are taking any of your classes at Lakeland or online, we have orientations that we have there. But if you're planning to do your CCP classes here at Mentor, or any CCP course here at Mentor, we will have a special orientation later in the spring that will be communicated with you. And because those classes here at Mentor can fill up really quickly, if you're thinking about doing that, you want to make sure that you're here at that orientation at the high school. So we will communicate that information will be in the acceptance packet. So just to review quickly, all of your steps for participating in CCP. You've already done step 1. You're here tonight. You're attending the information session. Apply online. That's first. Do that before you take the test. Prepare for the exam, and then sign up to take ACCUPLACER online, or if you've taken the ACT or SAT, you can submit those scores instead. Have your high school transcript sent, and then turn in your intent to participate form to the Mentor Guidance Office or tonight. Those are the forms that are on either side of the auditorium that you can sign. It does not commit you to participating in CCP, but by filling it out, it will allow you to next year if you decide to do CCP. and then attend a CCP orientation. We are on Twitter, so if you're on Twitter too and you want to follow us and get some updates, you can do that. And now I'm going to open it up for some questions. And it's hard, I don't know if we can bring the lights up maybe so I can see people. There, that helps. Okay, any questions? Yeah. Okay, good question. Okay, that was a good question. The question was, what's the deadline for summer classes? So I mentioned earlier, you can do summer classes with CCP. At Lakeland, we have several different sessions in the summer. Some start in May, and I know that most high schools are still in session. And then we have some sessions that start in mid and late June. So I would say in registration for summer classes will start in March. So if you're thinking about doing summer, you'll want to apply and do things a little bit earlier, just so you have a good chance of getting into some of those summer classes. A quick note about summer classes, they're great. We do have CCP students that take them. Instead of being 16 weeks long, they are 5 or 8 weeks long. So they're doing 2 or 3 weeks at a time. It's pretty accelerated. But if you're not taking any other classes or have a lot going on, then you can really focus on that class. But if you're doing a lot of traveling or have a summer job or other things, it can be a little bit tricky, but that is a great opportunity for CCP students. Any other questions? Yes?
Is there any access for us to see this PowerPoint? I don't write fast enough, so I mean, is there any way we can see this PowerPoint besides here?
Yeah, Mentor High School will post it as a PDF on the website. So yes, good question. Okay. So if you didn't stop by Lakeland's table, so the question was about those test prep resources that are available for the ACCUPLACER test. If you haven't stopped by Lakeland's table, we're right outside this door. On our table, we have one brochure that talks about how to apply and just some basic information. We have another sheet that talks all about the ACCUPLACER, all of the sites and passwords and how to sign up for those in-person test scores and what are the minimum scores. So you want to pick up that resource out this way at the Lakeland table. Any other questions? I don't see any. So Tracy Cooper and I will be at the Lakeland table. So if you do have any questions or want to talk to either of us, there's also representatives from other colleges out there as well. Thank you for listening and have a good night.